The middle part of their new series, the Vivo X90 Pro, features a large 1-inch type sensor in the main camera, similar to what we just seen on the Xiaomi 12's Ultra. Moreover, there is a high-resolution AMOLED display, a new cutting-edge MediaTek chipset, lightning-fast wired charging, and wireless charging. The X90 Pro's appearance is unquestionably an evolution of what we saw in the X80 Pro from the previous year. Vivo has now adopted a full-on camera style. A new addition is the gripping vegan leather backing, and for the worldwide version, black is the only color available. A slim aluminium frame that bends into the back panel. Although the resolution isn't as high as the QHD panel we saw in last year's model, the phone's curved 6.8-inch AMOLED display, which has a 1260 by 2800 resolution and a 120 Hz refresh rate, is still sharper than the average phone at 453 ppi thanks to its support for 10-bit color depth and HDR10+. Depending on the color option you select, the color accuracy can be outstanding. The X90 Pro's displays are quite bright. We tested a maximum of 520 nits with a manual brightness slider and a boost to 930 nits in automatic mode. The 120 Hz refresh rate smooths out your motions on the screen in bright environments, although this panel switching is less sophisticated than the LTP03 panel from last year's model. It can be turned down to save energy when idle or when using particular apps, but only to 60 Hz. The X90 Pro boasts a pair of stereo speakers that are very loud and have good audio quality, with likable midtones and vocals. Under the screens is an optical fingerprint sensor that is quick and dependable. Well presented, observable highs. You may purchase the Vivo X90 Pro with 256 or 512 GB of internal storage, however, that space cannot be expanded with a microSD card. FunTouch OS 13 is installed over Android 13 in the Vivo X90 Pro's international variant. Full Google support and a ton of unique features are part of the heavily customized UI. There are numerous customization choices for the home screen, lock screen, and animation effects in the dynamic effects submenu, which you'll find simple blue circle buttons rather than Google's bulky bubble-style ones in the notification shade. The dedicated Ultra Game mode is available and it has a ton of features like 4D game vibration and an esports mode. You even get an in-game overlay similar to what you'd find on dedicated gaming phones. One cool feature is that you can hold the volume down key to launch an app or perform a certain task. Another distinctive feature is the Smart Remote app, which lets you utilize the IR blaster on your phone to control a variety of appliances. The V App Store is even an alternative to Google Play in this area. The top-of-the-line Vivo X90 Pro is the first phone we've seen with a MediaTek Dimensity 9200 chipset. It brings significant improvements in graphics performance, including hardware-based ray tracing. A 6th-generation AI processing unit on top of that, and much like the newest Snapdragon chipsets, it supports sophisticated memory technology like UFS 4.0 and LPDDR5X RAM. And the Vivo V2, a 3rd-generation custom image processing processor. Without getting caught down in the specifics, this chip offers a number of improvements over the previous model and should deliver Vivo's quickest and most effective camera processing to date. The Vivo X90 Pro performs admirably in benchmarks, posting CPU scores that are noticeably higher than those of devices using the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or Density 9000. In both CPU and GPU tests, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 performs slightly better, but it is still competitive. In addition, the X90 Pro has a massive Heatsink-based cooling system and the thermal management was good during our hour-long CPU stress test. During our graphics stress test though, the phone did grow pretty warm. The battery is split into 2 cells to support the new 120-watt charging, and the adapter comes in the box with it. We were able to charge the Vivo X90 Pro from 0 to 100% in 24 minutes, which is incredible, and their support for Wi-Fi. The Vivo X90 Pro has a slightly larger battery than last year's model, 4,870 mAh versus 4,700 mAh. They are outstanding, they have terrific contrast, vibrant color, and fine detail. We had to wait around a second for each shot to process, indicating that multi-image stacking is sometimes necessary in low-light situations. Photos shot with the primary camera are exceptional, with great resolution, detail, exposure, and noise reduction, as well as beautiful color brightness. Blotted highlights are uncommon. We also like the dynamic range. There is a night mode you may activate, but it usually doesn't make much of a difference because image stacking and processing are already taking place himself. The X90 Pro will use the telephoto lens if you switch to it at night. The resulting nighttime images are reliable, detailed, have low noise, excellent exposure, lots of contrast, and strong dynamic range. The colors are beautiful, and much like with the main camera, the normal mode and night mode are very similar. Although the detail wasn't particularly stunning, the extremely wide shots we took at night are good. They also have a good exposure, vibrant colors and an excellent dynamic range. On the ultra-wide, the specialized night mode occasionally produces a little bit more detail and more sharpness, along with being a little brighter deep blue. Nonetheless, some of the vegetation appears quite fake. In our opinion, 4K video is excellent. The detail level is flagship caliber, the sharpening is spot on, and the entire processing seems natural. Like with 8K video, 4K video has vivid colors, nice contrast, and a large dynamic range. The 4K video from the telephoto lens is good. It has good detail levels, balance, sharpening correct colors with little noise, and a broad dynamic range. While zoomed in, 8K video is possible, but it will be a digital cut from the primary camera. The ultra-wide cam doesn't record in 8K either, but its 4K recordings are remarkable, even class-leading for this type of camera. The amount of information is excellent, and everything else is as well. You get fantastic clarity and colors with wide dynamic range and no noise. All cameras and resolutions can use electronic stabilization, and it works well. Moving on to low-light video capture, the main camera's nighttime 8K video quality is outstanding. It has acceptable noise, good contrast, a wide dynamic range, and is sufficiently sharp and detailed. The main camera's 4K low-light videos are also quite impressive, with plenty of clarity, superb exposure and color saturation, low noise, and a wide dynamic range with well-contained highlights. But wait, there's more. The Vivo X90 Pro supports all resolutions save for 8K and offers a video night mode. The level of detail in the main camera's night mode footage is astounding. Both the exposure and the dynamic range are excellent. Both the colors and noise are really precise. It's some of the best smartphone low-light video we've yet seen. The 4K films produced by the telephoto lens are excellent. The noise reduction isn't overly aggressive, so we can still see some noise, but we still get good detail levels, decent exposure, nice color saturation, and a wide dynamic range. The 4K low-light videos from the ultra-wide camera are passable. They are somewhat dark and noisy, but the amount of detail is tolerable and the colors are pleasing. Neither the telephoto nor this camera support the night mode. Similarly to the Vivo X90 Pro. It's a fantastic flagship package with few missed opportunities. In comparison to last year's model, this year's model stands out for its long battery life, incredibly quick charging, and, of course, excellent camera performance. There are a few areas where improvements could be made. There are alternatives with higher zoom levels than 2 times, but the screen refresh rate doesn't dial down as low as many rivals. But if you're looking for a camera phone with all the bells and whistles that is less expensive than the other top flagships out there, these are just minor quibbles. The Vivo X90 Pro is unquestionably worthy of endorsement.